Good morning, everyone. Today, we will look at another child condition called stuttering or stammering. So, some of the perspectives of either parents or other professionals that stuttering or stammering is purely a speech problem or speech therapy is required. Only speech therapy is the solution. But surprisingly, 70 to 80% of the stuttering or stammering in children when they are in the especially preschooler age of 3 to 5 years is related to the environment, parental rearing, the child rearing practices, and most of it is considered to be resolved by effective intervention at the earlier stages. So looking at what it is, actually, if you look at what is stammering or stuttering, mainly it is a kind of disruptions in the fluency of the speech. There are prolongations and there are pauses and interruptions while the person is speaking. So here, most of the time, the person stops and then they will try to have a little bit of struggle in order to, especially with particular words, they have struggle. So there are certain blocks coming in the way, certain pauses and some prolongations that are coming in the speaking process. So the person who is listening to them can easily make out that there is something different, that the speech flow is not moving smoothly. So here, generally the speech, these kind of fluency issues are mostly, according to the research, seen or seem to begin around 4 to 6 years of age when the child is actively developing the speech. And very interestingly and surprisingly, when the child is speaking to themselves, or speaking to an animal or a pet, or trying to sing something or trying to whisper, there is no problem in the fluency of the speech. So it is only when there is people around or when there are some stressful situations where this kind of stuttering or stammering is expressed. So looking at, there are three major characteristics in diagnosing that it is a problem of stammering or stuttering. Both are used simultaneously. Here, the person who is stammering or having a problem of stammering has the first and foremost problem is the fluency, interruptions in the fluency of the speech. You can actually see that it is not under the voluntary control of the child or the person who is stuttering. And the person has, difficulty in there is prolongations or pauses in the sounds or the words or the syllables. That's where there is a little bit of difficulty observed in the fluency. The person who is listening to the child, or even for that matter an adult, can easily make out that there is difficulty in the fluency of the speech. So the first and important character of stuttering is interruptions in the fluency of speech. The second important character is the struggle. There is a physical struggle associated with this stammering. You can actually look at a kind of exaggerated kind of muscle movements. There can be stiffness in the neck or the muscles around the jaw, and sometimes it can even be the hands and typical movements in the hands and the legs, or mainly the areas in and around the speech, jaw, throat, chest, stomach areas, where there is a muscle tension. There is a physical struggle when the person is trying to speak. So that is the second thing that we can observe. And the third important aspect is the emotional aspect, where there is a heightened anxiety. There is an emotional excitement more in terms of feeling anxious, or feeling a little bit of embarrassed. You can see signs of feeling low about or not very confident in facing the person with whom they are trying to converse. So these kind of emotional issues are observed in these children, more from the point of anxiety as well as a kind of embarrassment that they are unable to, and lowered self-confidence, and things like that. So looking at the factors or the causes, how these kind of if we are looking at it as something 70 to 80% that it is emotional, and then the environment that is provided by the parents. I'm not completely saying it is a 15 to 20% of the speech problems can also be because of an developmental disorder, which might require speech therapy. But we are here talking about the psychological components, that is 70 to 80%, especially in the preschoolers in the beginning of their fluency of the speech, where there is most of it is the factors are surrounding the kind of family environment, the kind of temperament, and various other important factors that we will discuss in. So shortly here, looking at the kind of expectancy factor. There is a factor, expectancy factor, where the person knows that what kind of words that they might actually stutter, and when they had to speak these kind of words, actually there can be these signs of an expectancy that, oh, I am going to stutter, and then the muscle movements or the neck movements of stiffening, and other difficulties of physical struggle, and emotionally the person getting tensed up are observed. So expectancy effect is something that we can look at as one possibility. And environmental factors play a major role in child's development or day-to-day life. If the parents are looking at it more from a highly competitive environment towards achievement, that everything has to be perfect, the speech or other kind of behaviors while they are doing these child rearing practices or disciplinary practices. If parents are looking at it more from a perfectionistic perspective or a competitive perspective, the environmental factors can actually aggravate the problem. So making the child conscious when the child is upset, or when the child is feeling a little tensed up, especially around strangers who are not very responsive. And if the child is forced to speak when the child is very upset, or when you are highlighting or giving more attention when there are these kind of speech problems, or a minor struggle that is observed, or initially, usually it starts with repetitions, and slowly there are these physical movements or facial muscle tension. All this is built up over a period of time. When you are observing that there are pauses or repetitions of the words itself, these are the initial signs that the child is feeling a little difficulty in fluency. And then if you can address by providing a positive environment, looking at the positive environment more in terms of encouraging the child when they are speaking more fluently, or trying to make it more like a parallel talk, or trying to put it more a kind of rhythmic kind of talk, and encouraging or bringing in more positive experiences to the child in terms of trying to provide more successful experiences. When the child is fluently speaking, encouraging the child to speak more while reducing the attention given to these kind of blocks or interruptions when they are found in the initial stages. So, and highly, if the parents themselves are very, high on the speech rate, speaking very fast, can be a threat to the parent, threat to the child to speak in the same frequency or same rate. So it is important for the parents to understand that, and then trying to kind of mellow down or try to slow down their speech. Or sometimes if the parents are trying to speak words that are too high for the child's age to understand or comprehend, and going over the head can also create more stress. So these are some of the environmental factors that can bring in more complications and more maintain the stuttering and make it much more a problem. So it can also be looked at as more a learned maladaptive behavior from the perspective of behavior therapy. It is looked at it as a way of handling a stressful situation. There can be an initial struggle or a difficulty in fluency of the words, and then as a way of handling the stressful situation, the child would have developed it. And then over a period of time, it has become a kind of maladaptive habit that can also be one of the factor in developing this kind of stuttering. So here mainly using a reward system, where whenever the child is speaking fluently and when the child is speaking without much interruptions, they are rewarded by a physical kind of praising the child, or socially trying to encourage the child to talk more. And like I said, surprisingly, if the child is speaking to a kind of to a pet animal, or singing or doing the rhymes, this kind of stuttering is not observed very clearly, or it is not seen at all. So in such situations, a positive experience is provided to the child, so that the interruptions can be slowly ignored, and the child is made them unaware. So this is something that parents need to keep in mind. And last but not the very important thing is the unrealistic goals on the child. Providing a kind of stressful environment to the child, like a competitive kind of achievement kind of oriented kind of stress created around the child. And like I said, the parents themselves are fast speakers, can also be one of the expectancy, where they also expect the child to speak fast. And especially forcing the child in front of people who are not very responsive, or the expectancy that the child has to compete and be perfect can also aggravate the problem. So, and also the meaningfulness of the material that the child is spoken, and the parents are wanting the child to speak about the kind of words that are not very meaningful to the child, and forcing that kind of speech can also make the child low in their confidence level, and there is a possibility of this emotional struggle that the child can look at as over a period of time it can start affecting the speech fluency. So this is some of the factors where there can be a possibility of stuttering. And surprisingly, it is important to notice that when you observe that the child starts these kind of difficulties in their fluencies in the early childhood, and then there is a complete resolution or complete kind of treatment that is available in order to stop it at the earliest by looking at some of the important tips and also the behavior therapy. Now, looking at how the child can be helped by the parents looking at how the child can be helped by the parents in order to overcome this kind of problems. The first and foremost thing that one need to keep in mind is eliminating the maintaining factors or the environmental factors that can be controllable. So, like I said in the previous 5 minutes back, that when there is a kind of competitive stress, or the parents themselves are fast speakers and expecting the same from the child, so these kind of maintaining factors as well as the stressful factors at the school, the child can be a kind of at a vulnerable stage of getting into a teasing or other children laughing at the child when there is a kind of difficulty in fluent speech. So these kind of factors that can be controlled can be the first and the foremost way of handling or trying to bring in some control over this problem. So that is one thing. And the second thing, providing more successful and positive experiences to the child whenever there is a kind of stuttering, not making it more obvious or not making it noticeable, and trying to focus on the positive, providing a positive kind of movement at that particular point of time by trying to make the child continue speaking in a kind of singing tone, or trying to encourage singing the rhymes, or providing more positive experiences by speaking to an animal, whatever is available in the environment, and trying to bring in more positive experiences and highlighting them, trying to reduce the stress by not bringing in more in terms of forcing the child to speak in front of people, especially some of the people who are not very emotionally responsive, not very engaging with the children. If you are forcing your child to speak in front of them, it can be very stressful and it can actually increase the stuttering experience. And forcing the child when they are upset or when they are trying to kind of feeling very guilty, making the child speak up when they are feeling guilty, or when they have done some mistake, all these things can only make it much more worse. So providing a rewarding kind of experience, especially when the child is speaking fluently without any problem, trying to reward the child by, below 10 years, usually the eatable rewards and activity kind of rewards are much more fruitful. With the little older children, socially praising the children or trying to kind of pat their back and encouraging the children, these kind of experiences will add much more confidence to the child. So, like I said, encouraging the positive experiences of fluent speech and not to bring too much of highlighting of these kind of speech difficulties to the notice of the child, and reducing the stress on the child by not forcing them to speak when they are upset or when they are feeling stressful. So all these things will help to some extent control the maintaining factors or bring in some better way of handling at home. Looking at behavior modification therapy, if it is becoming a continuous problem over a period and then it is affecting the self-confidence of the child and it is coming in the way of academic progress, then one need to look for some professional help where parents are trained in a systematic way how to handle these problems. Parents are always involved with the child related issues by training them. So modeling is one method where the therapist is, they will train the parents how to model successful speech experiences from words to sentences, and forming a kind of program or developing a program of more from the reward point of view, which we call it token economy system, where whenever the child is having a successful fluent speech, the child is rewarded, and when there is a kind of problem in the fluency, how you can ignore and then not to bring it to the notice of the child. Especially children, as they are becoming more and more aware, they are aware on particular words or particular, they are more aware in terms of an expectancy that, oh, I might stutter at these words, or these group of words I might stutter. So try to bring down that expectancy by not forcing the children, and then trying to help them more from the providing more positive experiences, trying to bring in more positive experience by encouraging them to kind of look at it more from the point of view of a kind of a learning difficulty as they are growing up, and encouraging them that they will be outgrowing it, and then positively encouraging the children will help them. And looking at handling the three major characteristics. One is the physical struggle, the second one is the fluency of the speech, and the emotional effect. So relaxation techniques are also very successful in helping them in order to relax the muscles that are tensing up or becoming anxious when they are having these difficulties in speaking fluently. So a kind of relaxation program that will help the children, even for the adults, they will help them to relax the muscles around the speech, and they will help them to be a much more relaxed way of handling the speech experiences. And another kind of program where in behavior modification, where there is a desensitization, where the child is exposed to these kind of possible difficult situations in a much more systematic way by developing a program. We call it successive approximations, where the child is provided with more positive experiences, how they are able to handle the stressful situations by handling them in a much more practical way, and then overcoming the fear, especially the fear of going wrong or fear of speaking wrong is something that we are handling in such situations, where when there is a phobia or fear around speaking certain with some people, particular environment, especially in a stressful environment, where the child is provided a program to overcome this kind of fears, and a lot of other behavior therapy techniques that will help them to overcome this problem when they are still young, and then help them to increase their self-confidence by overcoming this problem are available. It is important for the parents to recognize this problem at the earliest, and then try to bring them for the professional help in order to take care of the problem at the earliest. So I have provided the important points of this talk at the end of this video in the form of slides. Hope this little information will be helpful to the parents in identifying the problem in their children at the earliest and taking the necessary help. Thank you.